markets are doing towards the close. But back to you now. Hello, thanks. See you later.
Now, the German electronic pop pioneers Kraftwerk, hailed for creating the template for much of modern music, will begin a series of 8 gigs tonight at the Tate Modern Gallery in London. The group, which was founded by Ralf Hutter and Florian Schneider in the 1970s, blended a fusion of art and electro beats to create synth pop. Last year, demand for tickets was so high that fans crashed the gallery's website, and angry fans who missed out stormed the venue. Well, we're joined now by Andy McCluskey, the lead singer of Orchestral Manoeuvres in the Dark, one of the pioneering synth bands that followed Kraftwerk. He joins us from our central London studios. Hello to you, thanks for being with us, it's good to see you.
Thank you.
It's interesting, isn't it, that the Tate is putting this on? I mean, is the Tate clearly saying that the music that this band made is effectively conceptual art?
That is exactly what they're saying. Kraftwerk was a conceptual art project in the guise of an electronic pop group, and they merit being in a museum art gallery.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because critics would suggest that people go into making conceptual art because they're not really real artists, they're not proper artists. Would you suggest that that might be the case with Kraftwerk then, that they're not really proper musicians?
Over the years, many critics who prefer their rock and roll to be kind of sweaty and guitar driven have certainly criticised them for being too electronic and too cerebral, but certainly for geeks like me, that's the appeal.
So that was the appeal, was it? The fact that it was something that you could do, that you could emulate?
Very much so. I mean, when I was a 16-year-old and I first saw them, myself and Paul in my band, we had nothing and we had no money. But if they could make music out of Geiger counters and chopped up bits of radio, so could we.
So what's their enduring appeal then?
I think quite simply, there's 2 things they brought. They were pioneers in a musical style that has now basically seeded its DNA through 40 years of popular music. They are the most influential band in the history of popular music, and also they predicted the future not only of music, but the future that we live in today, the technological world.
Are you surprised at perhaps the level of response there has been to getting tickets for this concert? I mean, you're one of the jammy beggars who's managed to get a ticket, thankfully for you, but lots of other people, they just haven't been able to do it, have they?
No, and it's very unfortunate. I mean, obviously, they've chosen venues that are not very large and there's going to be a huge demand. I mean, essentially now, I think Kraftwerk have moved into a part of their career where we're probably not going to see new albums. They're just kind of curating their legacy. And for those who are not going to get tickets, you wonder when they'll come round again. Yeah, it is, you know, it's unfortunate for those who can't get in.
You've been in the music business for a while and you write songs for other people as well. I mean, are there any other bands that you would say are conceptual artists?
There have been. I mean, there's been times when people like David Bowie has been quite conceptual. But I think more than any other, Kraftwerk managed to combine the concepts, the ideas, and the distilling their music down to an incredibly simple but strong art form, and yet still having melodies and a certain melancholy romance, which I think is there, others might dispute.
Melancholy romance, Kraftwerk. I mean, do you think their legacy is going to be talked about in 50 years' time then, the way that, you know, other conceptual artists are?
I absolutely think they will, and a series of concerts like this week in London will cement that.
All right, Andy McCluskey, it's good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.